Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
The Blood of an Englishman brings us a tale as old as time. No, not that tale. This one is the epic battle between Jack and the Giant. This is exclusively a two-player game, and each side plays completely differently, with different goals and different actions. Jack is trying to climb the beanstalk 3 times to gain 3 different goods. A greedy little guy, isn't he? The Giant has a plan to stop Jack by saying fee, fi, fo, fum. Jack accomplishes his goal by gaining beanstalk cards in sequential order and then a treasure. The Giant accomplishes his goal of stopping Jack by getting his cards in 1 stack together, or 4 of the 5 stacks has the words fee, fi, fo, fum in the front. On his turn, Jack has 4 possible actions, of which he can take 3. He can take a card from the front and place it on another front of a stack. He can take a card from the front of a stack and add it to his beanstalk. He can take a card from the back and place it on the front. Never front to back. Finally, as a 4th action, he can take a card from the back of a stack and put it on his beanstalk. On the Giant's turn, he can only do 1 action, but what a powerful action it can be. Number 1, he can discard any beanstalk card from the board. 2, he can move 4 cards from the front of a pile to another stack, keeping it in the same order. And number 3, he's allowed to do 2 moves. He can move a single card from the front of a stack to another stack. And once again, he can do that one twice. One of my favorite things about this game is the fact that as you're playing Jack, you move really quickly, very nimble. And as the Giant, you actually move very slowly, but you have more powerful moves. And you're taking turns doing this. So Jack is doing these really quick moves. And at the beginning of the game, he feels really powerful. But as the game progresses and there's less cards on the table, the Giant becomes the more powerful one. And his moves are just like a big club, like he's getting angrier and angrier and coming at you. And I like this. I like this feeling at the beginning. You're like, Jack, ba-doop, 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 going around. I'm getting what I want. I got this. I got it. It's almost like you get a little bit more courageous and a little bit more overconfident. And that Giant is just getting madder and madder and madder and stronger. Stronger and stronger until he just wants to crush you. And it's brilliant because you're taking cards away from the table so you can win. Yeah. But by doing so, you're making it easier for the Giant to manipulate the cards in the formatting that he needs or she needs to win. Now, when the Giant takes his actions, it feels like he's big. I can take 4 cards and I can move them. Or Jack just comes and goes, dink, I'm moving that to the back. I'll snatch that out of there. I got this. So when he's making those big swings later on, there's less for him to cut down. And it's easier for him to manipulate the cards. And that's a brilliant thing about it. Because Jack is actually helping the Giant win the game because of his greed. You're required to go 3 times. Up the beanstalk and down. Up the beanstalk and down. Up the beanstalk and down. So your greed is what is driving the Giant to get more angry and thus become more focused on you and play a better game. I like that. Jack is trying to win the game, but his actions are causing the Giant to win the game. Or at least make it easier for him to win the game. Or put him in a position to where he can win the game. If the number of cards on the table the entire game, this game would be so easy for Jack. But because Jack is taking them away, the Giant has a chance at winning this game. So Jack almost cooperatively helps the Giant. until at some point in the game the tides turn. Jack has to be quick and get this done, or the giant is inevitably going to win. The number 2 thing I really like about this game is that it's asymmetrical, but it's still easy to teach. With this game, you really only need to know your Jack part or the giant part. Now, in order to play the game well or have any type of strategy, I do need to know what the other actions are going to be. But you're going to pick up on them very quickly when the other player's going. Jack has 4 possible actions, and he can do 3 of them on a turn. And the giant has 3 possible actions, but can only do 1 of them a turn. You're very quickly going to understand what the other person can do. If you just take the first game as a learning game, you could theoretically jump in just knowing your part and pick up what the other person is doing. You won't have the best strategic game in the world, and you may even feel like you didn't get the full flair of the game, but you could teach it that way. But the game is very easy to teach. There's no reason not to do a download dump at the beginning of this and have all the rules. And you could teach this game to a lot of people. It's going to appeal, and what you can do is so simple that people are instantly going to recognize it and be able to implement it right away. The third pro about this game is I love that you play offensively and defensively at the same time. If you try to just go after the giant with Jack, you are going to lose. You have to play both. You have to win. Okay, he could win if he does this. I got to make sure I block that, but also snatch a card that I needed that beanstalk. So with Jack, towards the middle of the game, you're just kind of poking around, getting what you want. But you better make sure those cards don't line up in a way the giant can use his turns. It's just a brilliant game in that respect. And sometimes you find yourself just checkmated. You're like, no matter what I do, I think you got me. And you're able to slide out of there. It's almost like the giant just slamming his hand down and Jack just running out from underneath it at the last second. Beautiful and brilliant how you play both offensive and defensively. And you can't just play one or the other. You need to do both. The fourth thing I really like about this game is the theme. It just has a universal theme. People know Jack and the Beanstalk. They know Jack versus the giant. They know what's going on here, and it's instantly going to be recognizable. They understand that, in this case, Jack has to go up and down the Beanstalk 3 times, but it makes sense. The giant only has to catch him 1 time by saying fee, fa, fo, fum. That's it. Once he says those words, his top is blown and he will get Jack. But the theme is universal. It isn't like trolls and goblins and orcs where everything's a little bit nerdy. This one, you can literally play with anybody and they're going to understand this. People may think that with Jack and the Beanstalk it may skew to younger people, and that's okay because anybody can play this. But it's actually a really good 2-player gamer game also. Number 5 tip on this one is the artwork. It is phenomenal. And I like how the higher you get, the background of the Beanstalks are a little bit more stormy and darker looking. Also, the fee, fi, fo, fum, the giant's getting closer. So if you're able to get those in order, even though it's not required in the game, it does look like the giant is just getting towards you and he'll grab you at the last second. And that's really neat. They did a great job on the artwork. I really, really like it. Considering that a lot of it is just beanstalks, right? It could have been very bland and boring, but they kept it just jumping off the car. And I have to say, I really like the artwork in this game. The last thing I have to say that I really like about this game is how quickly it plays. This game really won't take longer than between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on how well or how bad you do. With that said, it could have some AP. Well, let's see. The giant did this action, the giant did that action. But it's not really that type of game. You kind of get in the mode of what you're going to do. You could slow it down if you wanted to and have some AP. But really, the game moves pretty quickly. You have a couple actions. You're doing the same actions over and over and over again. And it lasts about the right amount of time. Now, some things I didn't like about it. It can be AP prone. So there could be some people who just kind of play this game and they have to look at every different possible action, and it could become a game. It could become a game of chess, and that's not really that much fun for me. You are doing the same actions over and over. That's the second thing that may wear on people after a while. It may not be something you want to play all the time because it is the kind of same actions, but those interactions, those actions are very interesting, and it does change a lot depending on how things are set up. The third thing that can be a little tricky about it is the setup of the game. It's a little bit random, and Jack does have an opportunity to move something at the beginning before the game starts, but the giant, I feel like, could be in a position where the cards are just set against him from the beginning. If you ever played like solitaire or spider solitaire, and you sometimes just feel like no matter what I did, even though probably mathematically was a way for you to win, you just feel like it wasn't going to happen because the order of the cards weren't in such a way. Maybe that could happen to the Giants sometimes, or during the game that could happen, but you're hoping that came about by your choices. Now, overall, I have to say I really like this game. This game is super duper fun. I'm highly going to recommend it. It's one of my favorite two-player games now. I'm so glad I looked into this. And really, guys, it's simple to play and simple to fun. I hope this review has been helpful for you, and I'm going to say this is a definite keeper for me. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing games.